right. Okay, so basically, I don't know if you want to give us a little bit of background info about Rocco. Rocco, well, that would be a really long story. So, this is Rocco's dad, Jeff.
Yes, hello.
Okay. And so basically, Rocco started here with us. How old was he when he started? I think he was 5.
Yeah, he was like 4 or 5.
4, okay.
Because he's going to be, because he turned 7. So, yeah, I think he went here.
I think he was 4 turning 5 and then 5 turning 6.
Yeah.
He was here for 2 years.
Yeah, so 2 years. God, I want to say it was longer than 2 years, but yes, so 2 years.
2 years, okay. And Rocco, when he first started, I think he came 2 days a week, and then I think he was in preschool, and then he did our kindergarten.
Yes.
And then I think he attended between 2 and 3 days a week.
I think he mostly did 3 days a week.
And he's an interesting child because Rocco, when he came to us, was already bilingual, right?
It was bilingual, but no Spanish.
No Spanish.
No Spanish, so just Russian and English. There was no, my broken Spanglish, but there was just like nothing really, no Spanish vocabulary at all.
And his Russian came from?
Russian came from Mom.
Okay.
So, yes, very good at Russian and okay with English, but, no Spanish background at all.
Mm-hmm. And when he came here, he picked up Spanish pretty quickly, do you feel? And I know you maybe don't know about Spanish, but
no,
I can tell.
I definitely think, but like what I remember when he started here, because we had tried other preschools or kindergartens. We had tried the cooperative school, and we had tried, I want to say we tried something else. And he wasn't really interested in those schools. So when he came here, he wanted to come back.
Okay.
Like the other school, like he was like, oh, I don't want to go.
Okay.
I don't want to go back there. And in the Spanish school, he's like, yeah, I want to go back.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Cool.
Okay,
I didn't
good to
think
know.
that.
That's good to know. Let me pause for a second and check and just make sure this is recording. So I can edit it later. Yep, recording. Okay. Okay, so that's pretty neat. I didn't know that he had tried other places, but he really liked it here.
We tried other preschools, and like, because we wanted to do part-time stuff, and like he wanted to learn the Spanish. So, yeah, I think, and as he went on, he liked to learn Spanish. Yes.
So, and do you think it was just the challenge of it? Do you think it was more challenging, engaging?
I think it was more fun. It was different. It wasn't like the same old thing. It was like something different. Like, let me. But I guess maybe it was because of the different language, because his mom spoke a different language. He was like, oh, now there's another language. So I guess maybe there was that kind of correlation there.
Yeah, that connection.
Yeah.
Okay, learning another language. So yeah, Rocco did excellent here. I mean, I remember he was reading really well, and you said that you had actually taught him how to read in English at home.
Yeah,
Because he was already reading really well in English.
We read. He reads a lot. We read. That's how I put him to sleep. So I had to read a book to put him to sleep. So we would just read, and then he loved that, because we're a little different. We don't do TV and iPads and all that stuff. So so the books were real. Like Rocco just loved books, and so he really gravitated towards books. And then me trying to put him to sleep, I had to read 3 books a night. So he was and he caught on with reading fairly well.
So that's interesting, because there isn't any one particular program that you use to teach him how to read, officially teach him, nothing like that you can point to.
No.
It's just you reading.
Me reading. And then his mom, all credits to Mom, because Mom would go over the Russian alphabet with him.
Wow.
And go through on, and say how to do the Russian alphabet. So I think he learned how to sound out. And then Mom did, like Aliona did, she did like this little like Russian kind of school at our house.
Okay,
where, like,
I remember that.
Like Philip, one of your students, Philip used to go there. And then there was a couple other Russian kids that would go there, and she would teach them, how to read in Russian. It was all Russian, because she wanted to teach kids how to speak Russian.
Okay.
So maybe he, that's how he just learned, how to sound stuff out. And he can do that now. He'll read a book that's way above his level, and he's like, he sounds stuff. He just knows how to sound it out. And so I think he does that with Spanish too.
Yeah.
He knows how to figure out how to say it in Spanish.
Yes, he was an excellent reader in Spanish as well. But I did notice that when he came to us, he already knew how to read in English pretty well too. So that's fascinating, because I kind of try to point that out to parents and make that connection. Sometimes people are worried that if they're learning how to read in a different language, that it won't translate to English, and somehow it does. And there's a lot of research out there about that. But it's interesting that he was learning some basic Russian, how to read in Russian and letters in Russian, sounds maybe.
Yep.
but then you were just reading to him in
I
English.
was just reading. I was not saying A is for, I mean, I guess there was those very basic books. A is for apple, B is for
pointing
book.
things out to him.
Yeah.
But all of that, you put all that together, and he was able to figure out how to read in English, and then he came here and learned how to read in Spanish really, really quickly.
Yeah.
Before he even went to big school. So
yes.
That's pretty impressive. So good job. Just trying to get
It's
some
all
tips for other
Aliona.
parents
It's all
out there. Okay, so then Rocco, like I said, did preschool with us, and then he did kindergarten with us.
Yep.
And then you all made the decision to let him go straight to first grade from here, and
Yes.
he went to
Gregory.
To Gregory.
So he went lateral entry into Gregory. So he didn't go, it wasn't I mean, I think we had to do the lottery to make sure that there's kids going from kindergarten to first grade, make sure there were spots open in first grade, because not everybody going from kindergarten to first grade does that. So that leaves a couple spots open. So then we had to do a lottery to get into those open spots in first grade, and then he had to test to make sure he had the Spanish, knowledge of first grade.
right. Because he skipped
skipped
kindergarten at Gregory. He did kindergarten here.
Public school, kindergarten. He skipped public school kindergarten and did his kindergarten here.
And went straight to first grade.
Straight into first grade.
So how was that? What did they say about his level when he got to Gregory, when he took the test?
They didn't really say anything. They just said, okay, he can come in. That's fine. I didn't think he would struggle with it, because we asked him about the test. Like, Rocco doesn't like to talk about school, so me trying to talk, hey, what did you do in school today? It's like pulling teeth. And I knew I was going to do this, and so I forced him that you got to tell me 5 things about school today.
Okay.
Otherwise he gets nothing, and like, so for the last like 2 weeks, he's been like having to tell me 5 things
Quizzing him
about school. Because I'll ask him, and he's like, I don't want to talk about school. And I'm like, okay, you're 7. But one thing I've noticed, like when we've hung out with parents of other kids that are friends of his, their kids are struggling in Spanish. And like Rocco, and I'll ask Rocco, and he's like, nope, I'm not struggling like one bit. And I'm like, are you serious, man? You're not struggling? Like, you understand everything that's going on in Spanish? And he's like, yes, I totally get everything that's going on in Spanish.
Wow.
So those are that's literally the conversation I had, because I knew I was going to do this. And I was like, I got to know something for Spanish. And so I asked him, like, what did you learn in Spanish today? And he said they read his story. And I was like, do you understand all the words? Do you understand the comprehension? Do you understand teachers? And he said, yes. I said, do everybody else understand that? He said, no, they're struggling. Like, his friends, I'm not saying any name, but that guy's struggling, this girl's struggling. They kind of didn't understand it. They were asking questions. And I said, did you understand it? And he said, yes, I understood it.
Okay. That's good to know. And I'm not surprised. That doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah.
But just kind of wondering, what was his transition like when he went to Gregory? Was it fine? Was it like, okay, I'm going to another school now?
Totally fine. He had one day where he's like, I don't have any friends.
Oh.
Because like he had some friends from here, and I think one boy, and to clarify, like what I said before, like those kids didn't come here. Those kids just went straight into Spanish school,
That's
public
right.
Spanish school. They weren't like in your school.
Yeah. And they had actually done kindergarten at Gregory.
They've done kindergarten at Gregory.
And now they're in first grade with Rocco.
Yeah.
And Rocco did kindergarten here.
Yes.
And so they're all together now.
And Rocco's
fine.
according to Rocco, but Rocco's pretty good about being truthful to me. Like he wouldn't fabricate that. And I do, like I hear him, like I can't speak Spanish, but I hear him, I see, if I see somebody speaking Spanish or something, I'll be like, Rocco, what is it saying? And he'll just kind of give me this goofy smile. And I know he knows, though. Like I know he knows what they're talking about. So, I just want to clarify that, like the kids that are struggling, they didn't come. I guess they did kindergarten there. But yeah, the transition. He had one day where he didn't have any friends, but there was one boy that did come here that was like in there, and so he didn't. He saw him, but they didn't talk or something because that boy was playing with his friends. So that was the only, and that lasted like, a couple days.
Okay.
That he just had to find friends.
And that's
that
typical.
that was the biggest transition.
Okay.
For us, because we had already. He didn't take naps anymore, and so the driving, we have to drive like about 20 minutes there. So it's more of a transition for us. I think they're young and they can just go with the flow. But as a parent, like I'm freaked out that he's going into this big wild world.
Sure. Yeah.
Like here, it feels very safe because like I know you and like we know your teachers and you're very hands on. You just drop them off at this big.
They
public
walk in by
school.
themselves, they come out by
It's terrible.
themselves.
It's like, oh my gosh, like I still get like when I drop them off in the morning, like, oh bye buddy. But no, it's been a good. I think the transition has been more for my wife and I. It's been like just letting him go, being into that, the big wild world.
Okay. Well, let's see. So you do feel like our preschool helped prepare him for Gregory as far as the Spanish is concerned?
Yes.
He's doing fine.
The socialization too. I mean, the socialization, because now he has friends. He talks about all his friends. So it wasn't like, oh, we kept him in your school and so he's not going to be socialized or anything. Like he's got all these friends. I think he has a girlfriend, but I don't know.
Oh gosh, no, not already. Don't start. Well, we have to slow him down though. Tell him he's got his whole life for that.
I know.
So I know that Rocco is an advanced student. I mean, just from knowing him here, I know that he's advanced. Do you feel, did Gregory, have they recognized that in any way? And do you feel like they're challenging him so that he's not?
Nah. So, we have been meaning, that is on my to-do list, to go and talk to the AIG teacher, because we have only had, and I can't blame Gregory, because they have so many people in that school. But when we went to their Christmas thing, so it's February, we went to the Christmas thing 2 months ago. And I think his English teacher, she had issues because he does one day English. So he's an English teacher, is an English homeroom, and then he's a Spanish homeroom or something like that. The English teacher had issues, and so they had a substitute.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know what kind of issues she had, but they had to replace her.
Okay.
And the substitute actually told us when, at the Spanish thing, not the Spanish thing, the holiday thing, that she's like, you guys need to talk to the AIG teacher.
Okay.
So that was the only time we were in the school though too. That's the only time we've been into the school, and they were like, oh, and we were going to get Rocco after the play, and the teacher was there, and this was the substitute teacher for the English side, and she was the one that said, you guys need to talk to the AIG teacher. She said, I give him extra work, I give him, he wants to do multiplication. All the other kids are doing 2 + 2, and he wants to figure out multiplication. And so she's the only one that's recognized. So the Spanish teacher, but I've never had any interaction with the Spanish teacher.
Okay.
So I don't know. And I don't know if she's, if in Spanish he's not at that, you know what I mean? If he's doing, I don't know if they do math I guess they do. I don't know.
I think so.
They do the math. They do each subject in Spanish.
Yeah, I think they do a similar curriculum in each language. So he's probably doing it in that too.
In Spanish.
So they have.
Yeah. So she's never. But I've never maybe if I asked her and said, hey, it's Rocco,
Sure.
But that teacher told me to go talk, because they set up. They said sometimes they don't think the parents are involved, so they just they just let the kid do whatever he wants to do. So she was like, if you show that you want your kid to go to AIG, they'll kind of
okay,
look at it more.
That's interesting. And I can't speak for Gregory because I'm not sure how they do their AIG, but I know at my children's school, Murrayville, on the north end of town, all of the kids get a little bit of AIG instruction each week, starting kindergarten, 1st and 2nd, and then 3rd grade is when they start pulling them out for AIG, just the ones who have been targeted as needing extra instruction or more. But I don't know. I don't want to say that that's how they're doing it, Gregory.
Yeah. But in 1st grade, would they be telling us that? Maybe he is, but he doesn't. He's not telling us hey, I'm doing AIG stuff. Or would they have to notify us? In 1st grade, or they just kind of
yeah.
Hey, here, 2 + 2, you got 2 + 2. Here, try 7 times 3.
Seems like they would mention it to you, but how's his, and without getting too detailed, how's his report cards?
Fine.
I guess
yeah,
he's done well on his report cards so far.
Awesome on his report cards.
Okay.
The only thing, because they've sent home this folder, and it has these stamps, great job today, great job today, great job today. The only thing is he talked too much today in class today. And I was like, okay, that's fine. I can deal with that.
Okay.
But that's cool. It was really good. They send this folder, and it's it has all his homework in there, and then it has the calendar, and it's he did good today. Or they'll write notes he was a little too talkative today, so we had to talk to him.
Okay.
So I didn't, and when I was growing up, they didn't have, and then they have another folder. It's to keep parents and send back with the, for permission slips and stuff like that. They just took him to Thalian Hall to see a play, which I thought was really cool. Yeah, so it's been a good experience.
And Rocco's happy. He's happy.
Rocco seems great. Yeah, Rocco is I was very worried about him going into public school, and he's been fine. I mean, he's very social. He's talkative. He hasn't, his learning hasn't slowed down. he gets a little bit more like now he's way into Pokemon, which he he's kind of I guess he was kind of in the bubble, and now he's exposed to Pokemon and superheroes and all that all this other stuff. But no, it's been a great transition.
Okay, that's good to know. Do you all have any? I remember your wife had a couple of concerns about the length of the school day, and I know that's just maybe a personal thing. But with her being from Russia, I think they don't do it that way in Russia.
Yeah, it's shorter.
I think the school day is shorter until, do you know at what point?
I don't think they do lunch there, so they start at like 8 or 9, and then they're out at like 12 or 1.
Okay.
Because they don't keep the kids there for lunch. The kids go home for lunch, and then. And if you did that here, it would probably be about the same. A public school.
Okay.
If public school started at 8 and they took that hour out of lunch, he'd be out at 1.
That's a good point.
So.
So how is that gone? Are you guys okay with the length of the day, or does she still feel like it's kind of a long day, or if he's?
It's okay. Yeah, Rocco's fine. The struggle is the morning time thing for sure. Like because we have to drive downtown. So we live around UNCW. We have to drive downtown. So that's about a 20-minute drive. We have to make sure he gets there at 8 because at 8 o'clock the doors are locked, and then you drop him off in the back of the school, and you can't go in the back door. You have to go around the front. So if you're like, oh, we're gonna get there at 7:59.
And swing in.
And the doors are locked. Then you have to get back in the car, drive around to the front, and you have to take your picture. And it's like, come on, man. Like, what's your excuse? And it's like, well, there was a red light or something, So that's been an adjustment for us, the morning chaos. But and then we pack his lunch too. So like, we cook my wife cooks him lunch every morning. So he has like chicken and corn for lunch. So that's our stuff. And then that's been a little bit of an adjustment. And then his lunch is at 10:30 in the morning.
Oh, it's early.
So he gets out and he's starving. So like 2 o'clock we have food for him because he's it's like food. And a lot of times he doesn't eat the lunch, or we just make sure like when we pick him up, did you eat your lunch? And if he's like no, then he eats his lunch then, or we bring him food, because he's usually starving. But his behavior's fine. He's not exhausted. A little bit more like getting the sniffles or a fever just because he's just exposed to everything. So we've been teaching him more to wash your hands. Constantly wash your hands. Constantly wash your hands. I don't care what your friends are doing. Just wash your hands. Wash your hands. Wash your hands. Wash your hands constantly.
That's important. Nothing you can do.
Yeah, so that's the only really adjustment. So the long day hasn't. It's not like he's exhausted.
Okay.
I'd say just our adjustment in the morning time to make sure he gets there on time. And then just the food thing.
Okay.
That's about it.
Okay, that's good. So, well, let's see. I guess the only other thing I wanted to ask, so do you feel like you guys did the right thing? Are you happy with your decision to have him do preschool here, kindergarten, and then go to Gregory? And you're kind of sort of repeating that, we think, if you have a second one.
Yeah.
Coming behind him. So would you guys change anything? Would you do anything differently about how you've gone about all of this?
No, because it's worked really good with Rocco. I mean it's more of a gradual change. Like with Sava, Sava's here 2 times a week, so he's getting that exposure to school. And I just think like from going from no school or something to going to, Rocco's in school from 7:45 until 2:30. So I think if Sava were to do that, I just think it would be tough for him because Sava still takes naps sometimes. He's going to be 5, but he still, every now and then he'll take a nap. So I don't think, look, we're very fortunate and lucky that we have like flexible schedules that we can do all this. So I realize there's other families that can't do that. But this has worked very well for our kids. And when I do talk to, like we go to gymnastics and other stuff, and I talk to the other parents about our kids learning Spanish. Like you can just tell like, oh, that's all, like they're sincere about that's awesome. Like I wish my kids would do that. Like I wish my kids.
It's an incredible opportunity for them.
Totally.
At an early age.
Yeah, because and then it's like, and I don't think it's like it's not a gel. It's like, oh, that's a really good thing. And I always tell that my kids went to the women's bilingual school, preschool, kindergarten, and then they go to Gregory, because it's always like what kid does your school go? What school does your kid go to? Yada yada yada, and it's really interesting to say like my 7-year-old, he does 1 day English, 1 day Spanish, 1 day English, 1 day Spanish, 1 day English, 1 day Spanish. Like I wish I would have done that. Like, it's just like it's cool. Like I did Spanish in junior high school in 7th grade. It was like the elective class, and just learned very minimal, Spanish language.
Sure.
But I can see what it's done for my kids' brains, like how it just
the cognitive benefits that come along with
yes,
it.
100%.
And he already had some of that already, so it's just multiplied with him now because he already had it, and we could see that with the Russian and the English. We could see that he picked up on Spanish so much faster than other children who come in here with just one language.
Yeah.
So imagine what's going to happen with his third, and then even a fourth at Gregory. I think they do Mandarin in middle school.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be a lot of fun. He's a little science experiment.
It's like scary too. No, because we were when we were having Salva or Rocco or something, and we were in the hospital one time, and there was a guy, and he spoke like 6 languages. Like he was from Morocco, and like Morocco, they speak Arabic, French, English, and then I think he knew like 2 other languages. And he was saying like he feels like how that has benefited him. Because we were just talking about them speaking Russian and English, but then he had this big long conversation about us, about how it benefited him to be multi languages. He's like, I can travel the world and go anywhere I want to, and like speak a language. He's like, my brain is just like constantly working. Yeah. So yeah, I don't think we wouldn't change. We're not going to change anything with Sava, because we're lucky to do this, and it's been a very positive experience for us, on what we've gone through with this. The only thing is just us trying to figure out the public school stuff. That was the only kind of our hesitation, but that was just because of us. Had nothing to do with like what we were doing.
Okay. Well, good. I'm glad it worked out. I'm glad you gave it a chance, because I know you all had a lot of questions last year about Gregory. Yeah. And a lot of trepidation about it too, because you almost didn't go, or I know that Lillian was thinking about waiting or something. I don't know. She wasn't sure she wanted to send him to public school. I remember she kept mentioning public school. So it's good. That's kind of why I wanted your perspective, because I know there's other parents that are like you, or in a similar boat, trying to figure out, should we try it? What do we do? So
no, it's terrifying. You're sending your little baby that you're like off into this big brick building, and you're like, I hope he's okay.
Oh, and what about safety too? Because that's one other thing that I get from parents a lot. They want to know, okay, is my child going to be safe here? What do you think? How do you feel?
Yeah, I feel it's very safe, because even if I try to get in the class, even if I try to get in the school, I can't get in the school. Okay. And you can see, like, because we don't use the bus, so we drive, so we have to drop off and we have to pick up. So we see a lot of that. I see the teachers that come out, and like you can see they're there, they're concerned, they're friendly, and they're there for a reason. So as far as like the environment, I mean, like Gregory, you go to Gregory and like it's downtown. It's not in like the shishi part of downtown, but like I feel fine going to Gregory. Like I don't feel.
You don't feel uncomfortable.
No, I don't feel uncomfortable at all. Like I think it's great. I think the diversity is great though. Like I think that's a positive thing for Gregory too. Is like the diversity, because I just think it's good for for Rocco to see that, and for Sava to see that is a diversity, and then because I think there's different things of safety. It's like, well, is the school safe? And yes, the school is very safe. Like I don't think somebody's going to get in there or whatever, something like that. And are the teachers safe? And I do think like the teachers that I've seen and interacted with, they're there for the right reason. They're there. They want to help the kids. And then the area. I mean, it's okay. It's downtown. It's changing, but I feel safe there. And I think like if there's any, they had like the 800 number or something, like if there's like a 10 blocks away, if there's something, they kind of let you know. There's like, something happened downtown. We're just letting you know. Yeah, everything's fine at the school. It's kind of like this automated.
Yep.
So that was a little bit, why is the school calling us? Like, oh my gosh,
But you get used to it after a while, because I get the calls too from my kids at Murrayville. Okay. In fact, we're kind of in the county. I mean, we're still in New Hanover County, but we're not in the city. Okay? Yeah. So we're on the outskirts. And it's a great school. I love it. But I think we've gotten a couple of calls about there being like a shooting range or hunters, nearby the school. So like everything's fine, gunshots were heard, but it wasn't, on the school premises. It was off in the woods. So they are very good about communicating that to you, so that you know what happens. The kids don't come home and say, "Hey, we heard gunshots at school." Yeah. That they will tell you it wasn't, in the vicinity. So
Yeah, and I mean it's scary. I mean it's you can't get away from that. But I think the like in general it's safe. It's just as safe as it's like getting
As
on an
it can
airplane.
be.
It's getting on an airplane. It's like all right, I'm scared to get on an airplane, but like we're still everybody's flying. There's people flying over us now. But I understand it's your children and like. I mean, look, he gets out of that car and starts walking down the aisle. I'm just like, oh my gosh, please, just be, because he's a little guy in there, I don't know. It's just, yeah, I feel the safety is, it's fine. And that was a concern for us. It was, and even to this day, I mean, everything with the news right now about public schools, there's a lot of stuff in our news right now about public schools. But I think that just makes me aware to talk to Rocco. And like make sure I have that open dialogue with him, so I do know what's going on at school. I think that's important. He just doesn't get in my car when I pick him up, and then I'm on the phone or I'm talking, like I'm like, hey, how was your day?
Sure.
But
that's super important. Even here at this level, it's important for parents to be engaged with their children, having conversations, and be there. I call it being present. Be present when they are present.
Yeah.
Right? Not on the phone, like you said, or not texting.
It's
or,
so
try to
easy
be
to
present.
It's
hard, actually.
It
Sometimes it's hard to be present.
hard to be present.
It's amazing.
Because it's easy to not be present.
It's easy, but you have to take the time to do that because it's interesting what the kids will tell you when you're just having a conversation with them.
Yep. Yeah.
So.
So I make that a point, try to talk to them. Because I think that will, like whatever's going on right now, I think, I don't know, I think just as a parent, you just kind of gotta.
Yeah, there's always something to worry about.
I guess
as a parent, there is.
Yes.
Okay, well, any other comments, anything you want to add to hopefully it's still taping, but any other comments?
I mean, it's just been a great, what you've done here, like to see you grow. I know we've talked about that. I'm not trying to toot your own, like build your ego anymore or anything, but it's great. And like what you've done is amazing. And like just to see what you've done with my two kids, like because we tried other things and we weren't comfortable, so trying this and to see that they're growing and they've gone through yours and they're continuing to grow and they're okay, like they're gonna be okay and they're gonna be fine. It's just been amazing. And so I appreciate it. You've done a wonderful
we appreciate
job.
you guys.
Yeah,
we really do, because I've told you before too, our families that support us from the beginning, it's hard to place your trust in a program, especially a new program. So we appreciate you trusting us, and we're glad that we did a good job.
Yeah.
So.
Well, our boys are difficult too. Like we have some.
Think?
Oh my God, they're wild.
Awesome. That's the funny thing. Well, they're different people here, so
they're so
they're
different.
Wonderful.
Because they come home and they're off the chain. They're wild, but like. They come here and they sit down and they color and I'm like, huh? I'm like, who are these children?
They are fantastic.
I think it shows, but I think it shows that's a reflection of your environment. Like you have a great environment here, so they want to learn and they want to excel and they want to do good for Maestro Patti and Maestro Monse. They want to do that and they love and care about the teachers, and they're like, oh, they love
very caring.
Yeah, it's awesome. So. What you've done is awesome.
Thank you. We appreciate that feedback. It means a lot because it's not easy. So we really do. And I'm personally glad too that Gregory exists. And I tell parents all the time, I'm glad it's there because that was kind of the idea. We wanted to be a stepping stone for parents who wanted to explore that option. Yeah. And so I want Gregory to be successful. I really do. That's what I hope. That's my hope for Gregory, and that it keeps going, and then maybe eventually, because they've expanded it to middle school, maybe eventually they'll have a high school or something. I don't know. Yeah. But I'm really happy that Gregory's doing well, and I'm getting a lot of positive feedback about the school. So. I
mean, the middle school that I see, because when we drive by, there's a middle school. I mean, it is largely, and I'm not trying to generalize, they're largely Latino children sit out at the middle school. I mean, they're all sitting waiting to go inside, and it's so many it's like. It's majority Latino, kids sit outside. So I'm like, they have to be speaking. There's got to be something. But I didn't know they were doing They do middle school.
Yeah. There's middle school.
Okay.
You learned something. Awesome. Yeah, in middle school, Gregory now does 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, and then starting in 6th grade, I believe kids have the option to start Mandarin, learning that.
Cool.
So,
but I think you're right. Like I would like Gregory the international school of Gregory to succeed too, because I think it's great for the kids.
Okay.
I think it's awesome.
Yay. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to come. Alrighty. Guess we'll log off. Goodbye.